welcome back to This Week at MBE. Sunday night, getting ready for Happy Thanksgiving weekend, or week I should say. We'll start off right here. We got a set of our billet small block Chevys. So, I mean, we see these a lot. You can see all the fasteners it has in the rocker bar and everything. We have a few different versions of this that we do. We have a power adder version, meaning a nitrous, turbo, pro charger version. And then we have a normally aspirated version, so we do a lot of these for like Australian Pro Stock, some of the NMCA classes, stuff like this. But so this is billet small block Chevy, 400 bore space, 500 CFM, and over 300 on the exhaust. And then we move some valve sizes around depending if it's power adder or NA, meaning if it's normally aspirated, we put more area on the intake side than the exhaust. If it's a power adder, we actually shrink the intake valve and make it larger on the exhaust to try and take advantage of everything that we can. Okay, and then so for these, we got another billet head right here. We made a run of these, so this is what we call our Pro Extreme head. So this is basically the Brad Anderson platform that we do. So we do these for anything from all the drag race stuff, alcohol funny car, alcohol dragster. We do these for for those No Prep King guys. They run a lot of these over there. As far as the 4800 bore space, this stuff has been dynoed against everybody else's, and it always wins, and that's why it keeps us really busy. We've also won a bunch of championships with this in the tractor pulling, with the minis and the truck pulling. That also. We have. Well, let's do this. So this is a set of billets. You can tell it looks like they've been like somebody just dragged them behind the car. Amazing, you get a set of heads like this. They spend so much money on them, but these are now in the right people's hands. So the original customer decided he was going to build it, and his knowledge came from watching YouTube videos on how to build a $100,000 engine. So it never ran right, it never did anything, and the best thing is he sold everything. So now it's at a real engine builder, and they're back here, and we're just making everything so they're great again. We'll do what we can on here to try and clean this up. This is just terrible. But we're going to have them back so they're brand new again. I mean, they won't look brand new because I can't help that. But a real engine builder is very, very important, people. I cannot begin to tell you how an engine builder is so important. When you're building engines that cost over $100,000, or you're building engines that have over 1,000 horsepower, or if they have like a Pro Charger on, they make 2,500, 3,000 horsepower. You need an engine builder. You cannot do that by yourself. You'll do it, and it'll just end up costing you 4 times as much. So this is a great example of that. But thankfully, these are in good hands, and these will come back to life again. And then we have some Big 9s here. So this is cool. This is Big 9, 1471, a twin engine boat. These are 540s. This thing's going to be obnoxious on the water. This thing is going to be badass. If you think about it, it flows more air than the Brad Anderson platform stuff. The port is much more efficient. They got a larger bore, shorter stroke. So this stuff is going to be awesome on the water. So this has the small port in it because it's on the water. They don't run as much RPM. So this has the small port MBE program that we do because we have 3 different intake ports for it. And typically we don't have what fits your application. They just don't sell that. We just go design something and then machine it, and then it just adds to our library. So I think that's one thing that we do here is just to make sure it's always detailed. And all the guys here are the same way. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll have videos on that with the blower intake manifold on it. We'll probably have that probably about 2 weeks. That won't be very long. And then I'll come over here. So like here's a set of Big 9s. We ran a set with the large intake port. So it's a large exhaust, large intake port. That large intake port is something for like 680 cubic inches on up. If you're going to build a 740, whatever you're going to do, we have a set in stock, inventory, ready to go. So keep that in mind. We put inventory in for the winter on the Hemi stuff, so we have all of that. And the other thing we did on the Big 9 manifold. So the big 9 manifolds, because these are time consuming to make, if you look up here, we have all the 10-2s, we have 9-8s, because that's a different intake manifold. We can't just add it or subtract it from the flange. You can do it, but then it's hokey and it's just not right. So we designed 2 separate intake manifolds. This can go down to 9-6. We can do this in 9-6 deck height, especially for your truck pull guys that are in that 485, 400 cubic, or 500 cubic inch class that like the short decks. This will fit on it no problem. Also, we can do anything in between too. If you're a 10-inch deck height, we keep spacers in. So there's a lot of 10-7 stuff, 10 and 10-4, 10-7. Even if you go to 11-inch, we make spacers for all that to get this to fit. So don't worry about any of that. And they're beautiful. You can't even tell that they're a spacer because we do the flange exactly like this. So it just looks like it's an extension of the manifold. You can't tell. So we have the CID small block Ford castings in here. So this is a water set for the 12 degree. So these are in stock, ready to go. And then we have castings here for we can use these because we put our seat bores, guide bores, spark plugs, and we decide all this goes. We can either do our 8 degree head, we can do our 10 degree head, or our 12 degree head in this. So we just keep a couple sets here so we can keep things moving along. So never going to be held up. So any of you guys that are interested in the 8 degree head, normally aspirated, we're finishing all this stuff up on that. It's getting rockers. Right now the rockers are getting designed. We should have that back pretty soon. Or if you're going to do the 10 degree head, the 10 degree head was originally designed for the super late models dirt stuff. That stuff has went out there and won a bunch of races this year. So that customer is actually switching his whole program to this. The engine builder is Domhoff Automotive in PA, and he told us that his customer is switching all this over to MBE stuff. And then we got billet stuff ready. And then we'll come in here, Mr. Big. So this is for Mike Dominguez. We got the intake manifold fixed. I shouldn't say that, ported. So now he's ready to go. So his heads will be assembled hopefully tomorrow because we have everything. So hopefully this will be ready to ship tomorrow. So everything's done for this. And then so this is a small block Ford. So we do a little bit of everything. I think people will be surprised that we use a Ford head like this. But this customer, the way his rules are, it's road course stuff, and it's very low RPM, very, very low RPM. So he wants to try a couple different manifold options. So we do a Victor, and then we're doing a Victor Junior for it. He wants to do some testing, but whatever the guy needs, we will work with it. You know, he just wants to keep going forward, and he's an exceptional engine builder, so it makes life very easy for everyone. And these are the Dominguez heads right here for the blower deal. So it's already been machined for the top fuel hoops, the soft chambers in it. So all these need to be done is final cleaned, press in the hoops, the top fuel hoops, assemble, ship. So all this stuff's finished, so that's great. And it's all in here, Mr. Big. So in here. As you can see, there's kind of cylinder heads everywhere, like even from last week's. That's because everything comes in to be serviced. We love when the customers send their stuff in. One thing when they get valve job back in the epochs, if we do it here, instead of using those form cutters and everything and not having the exact angle on the valve job, this stuff will last forever. So Bob and Ian are extremely meticulous about all that. But it's pretty cool because you got a set of heads that'll last a long, long time, and then and they'll run the same. And then so we have our NA version here. This is a finished NA version for the 8 degree. This is an 8 degree valve angle, small block Chevy, 500 CFM. Even has hollow stem intake valves in it. They don't weigh in, man. They are so light. So 2-310 intake valve in it, inch 600. We have the locations proper to make sure it's enough that the exhaust valves and the intake valve is far enough away from the cylinder wall. And then this happens to have the Jessel steel rockers. We offer this in Jessel and T&D. The Jessel system is absolutely stunning, gorgeous. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. That is a beautiful rocker on, absolutely beautiful. So, but yeah, so they design all the rockers. We have I think there's 26 fasteners that hold the bar down for the Jessel system, and the T&D has 32, so it's very rigid. 1/2-inch push rods. You're talking 1/100 lift, if you want to. All of that's ready to go. Here's a set of this is for the power adder, 12-degree CID. This has a raised cam in it. That's why the push rod clearance goes out to here. So that's something. So we have all that machined for that, and then they're going to make a piece to handle all that here. But so this is a 12-degree head. It's a 2285 intake valve. I think it's 2285. An inch 625. But this is the power adder version here. So it's got a 7-degree soft chamber, the copper beryllium seats. One thing nice, this has cross-sectional area. This is a large port, so this is like 450 inch on up. It's very common that we do these for that size of engine. And you can see this has 32 fasteners holding the bar on. Once again, all of the take 1/2-inch push rods. The other thing's nice about this set, the customer wanted the press-in hat washers, so they don't have to run a washer underneath the head nut. One thing, if you're pulling it off and you're at the track, it makes it much easier so you don't have to search for those washers or have to get them off even in the bottom row. So the bottom row is done also. So there's beautiful. These will not gall. These are harder than the nut. They will look like that forever. They won't even get shiny. And then just A460 heads. We just got to finish up the intake manifold for this. So we have those right here. That's the A460. So we do a lot of those for the drag racing, and a lot for the. We have a version that is designed for the truck pull. So for the 45 500 cubic inch pro stock class, we have a version that is for that. No different on the 18-degree conventional for the big block Chevy guys. We have a version for that. That's what it was designed for. It's a great class, performance-based, highly competitive. It's excellent. It's so good. So you can see that this one's in here for final clean. That's the mate to the other one in there. We have some stuff that's just come in to be serviced. And then this is for Mr. Schwager. So he is going to do drag week stuff. So we're going to drive it for 200 miles. This is a set of 18-degree max pulls. So these are in here for the guides to be honed, and then we'll valve job them. But this is a twin turbo deal that we're doing. He's going to drive it on the street. We're going to have about 850 lift in it. We're going to use some of those small valve springs that we spoke about in some of the other videos. So pretty cool. You can run 850 lift on the street and not have any issues. Let's go grab one of those bigs. I think we should have a set here. We do. So PSI spring. This is a Joe Hornick design valve spring. We use a lot of this stuff. Joe is definitely an expert on valve springs. There's no doubt about it. And having all of this available for 850 lift that you can run on drag racing and run it in an endurance application like Mr. Schwager's are is pretty amazing. That's an inch 310 spring. We have versions we can do anywhere from 600, 650, 700 on up to 900 lift. Mr. Schwager decided on 850. And all of this will control the valve train with a 2500 intake valve. We have them on the A460 in a blown boat application, and they just last and last and last. Having this available to us nowadays, I think that's one of the main things. Joe coming out with all these different part numbers, that's been able to really make the engine so much better. We don't have to worry about running more than 600 lift. We can run 850 and still be much, much better shape than we were at 600. So that's all that. That is Happy Thanksgiving from MBE. Thank you for joining us.